Rev up your engines! Well, if you're into SUVs, but you don't want to be like the rest of the crowd, and you like driving fast, here's a Dodge Durango SRT. And that's what they're made for. They're not practical vehicles. Okay, he gets 11 miles a gallon in town. He got 18 coming in from Pennsylvania. So, I mean, they're gas hogs. There's no arguing that. They're not cheap vehicles. He got it for $63, which was about $3,000 under the list. It was before the coronavirus craziness. Everybody started paying too much money for these vehicles, but he loves Dodges and he loves speed. These are built for it. They even look speedy. This is an SUV on a regular, modern, unibody construction. Now, he added the back here, and he says he doesn't care if it does anything. He just likes the way it looks. And I gotta say, it really looks good. Serious wheels, serious brakes, serious 392 V8 under the hood. And there it is, 392 Hemi. Now it only puts out 475 horsepower. This isn't the supercharged one. The man isn't insane. He likes speed, but, you know, he doesn't like getting too many speeding tickets, which he probably gets anyways. But they're good, solid engines. They put a lot of horsepower. Now, as I said, he likes Dodges, and he doesn't keep them that long. Now, if you don't mind spending the money, and if you don't keep them that long, you could probably have a lot of fun without getting into any serious problems. One, it's going to be under warranty if something breaks anyways. He traded his last V8 Dodge in for this, and there was only a $9,000 difference. He got quite a bit for his old one. With the prices of cars the way they've been lately, and you're swapping around, if you can find one you want to swap to, you're going to get good money for yours. Especially the case of him. You got so many people want big V8 Dodges. It's got 30,000 miles on it, so you're going to get good trade-in, and they're going to be able to sell the thing like that. So take a look inside. I was always a sucker for black and chrome. And you can see, it's got plenty of that. Even the brake pedal and the accelerator pedal are chrome plated. Nice comfort creatures for the back. Look at the room in the back. And there's the other row, he's got them down. Check out the back seats, I love them. Even the people riding here get to have bucket seats. Talk about comfortable. You got your climate control. You can play with the climate control up here. It's even coming out at your head if you get hot. And including the back seats if you pop them up. They've got the AC there too. And of course people buy them because of the engine. You can hear that V8. Now he doesn't want the police paying too much attention to him, so he didn't change the stock exhaust. It's still a stock exhaust. A lot of guys make them noisier, but really, if you tend to drive a little on the fast side, you're better being a little quieter, so they won't hear you rumbling down the highway coming towards them, and they'll get their radar guns out. And as I said, he came here from Pennsylvania highway. He got 18 miles a gallon, and he gets about 11 in town. He says he doesn't care that much about gas mileage. I don't blame him. I mean, he gets rid of these things every so many years, and they only have 30,000 miles on them after 3 to 5 years. So really, he doesn't drive all that much, so the price of gas isn't that big of a factor. If you're going to use this for an everyday commuter, yeah, for 20,000-30,000 miles a year, the gas bill would rise up pretty high. It's got all the controls. You want to do paddle shifting, it's got paddle shifters. You can just leave it in automatic if you want, or if you want to go old school, you can put it into manual where you shift it with the shifter, like an old shifter. I actually like these a lot better than the paddle shifters. I find the paddle shifters kind of annoying, but I find these are much more fun to play around with. And of course, you can fiddle around with the dash console, and I really like this dash console because it's integrated with the dash. It looks like it belongs there. It's not like these crazy modern ones. I see them on a lot of Toyotas and Lexuses where the screen is this big giant thing that covers part of the windshield. To me, that's ugly. This is nice because it's integrated with the entire dash. And of course, it's got all the modern conveniences you expect. It's got all the power takeoffs, direct charging of your cell phone. I mean, you know, they're into technology at Dodge. Dodges were always big sellers because of the way they looked, and of course, in the modern ones, all the electronics that they put in them. And that's why he likes these vehicles, because he likes having all the gadgets, you know? And he doesn't drive them that far. You're gonna drive them 100, 200,000 miles, you're gonna be shelling out repair bills like no tomorrow. But that kind of mileage, you wanna drive them around, you can have a lot of fun in these things. We're gonna take it for a spin now. All of a sudden, the infotainment system went out. We'll see if it comes back on. The backup didn't work either. It's back! It came back when he clicked it. But before when he clicked it, it didn't. Sensitive electronics. But you can see I'm bouncing around. This is a tall vehicle. It's for going through whatever you want to go through. It rides fine on the highway, smooth. You're going to feel bumps. It'll go over them. It's going to hurt anything. But it's not going to ride like a Cadillac. It is a big SUV with a giant V8 engine. It weighs a lot, and it's going to bounce a lot, too. Now, it's got the 8-speed German transmission, or Austrian transmission, I should say. And here we go. It does have a nice sound. The other transmission he had that had a problem in it wasn't the Austrian transmission. It was the American transmission. These Austrian transmissions are phenomenal. They've been using them for quite some time. If you're going to buy one of these things, my advice, get the 8-speed Austrian transmission. They are very good transmissions. Now, he did just update the software. They sent him a little chip to plug in to update the software. That's probably why the radio got a little wonky. It's working now. With all the computers in these things, they become just like your phone. You got to update them all the time because they got so much software running them. And then eventually there's a problem and they got to run another software to fix that problem. And here we go. Yes, that's what these things are made for. He's retired now, and he's having his late middle-aged crazies. And even he admitted he could have gotten a Hellcat that had 700 plus horsepower, but he thought, do I really need that? I mean, he doesn't even need what he has now, but it is fun. Now he takes care of his stuff, has the tires rotated all the time, changes the oil all the time. He even has it done at the dealer. And he admits probably in a few miles he's going to have to buy new tires, and they are $500 a piece. But he did know that coming in, so as long as you know it, now you know it. If you're going to buy one, you know the tires are $500 a piece. You don't mind? But right out, they will wear out faster. Not only is it a heavy vehicle, but it's fast, and you're just going to wear the rubber off the tires faster. These do come with cylinder deactivation to try to get better gas mileage. You notice it isn't phenomenal to begin with, so I guess they think every little bit helps. Kind of like going at it upside down. Let's build this giant horsepower engine, but oh, we got to get a little better gas mileage. Kind of stupid, but it's a cost. He was worried, is it going to cause problems? Well, yes, it does in the long run. You get over 100,000 miles, things are going to wear unevenly because of the different thermal displacement, a hot cylinder next to a cold cylinder, next to a hot cylinder when they're deactivated. But let's face it, this guy gets rid of these things when they have 30,000 miles on them, so it doesn't really matter to him one iota. He drives it a lot of times, he said, in the eco mode, and he said still got plenty of power to go around in. Got so much extra, you don't know what to do with it. So if you're a short-term buyer like he is, or maybe a leasee, hey, you can have a lot of fun with one of these things. I'm not saying put all your hard-earned money into one and then try to drive it for 200,000 or 300,000 miles. You're going to have a fortune in gasoline, and you're going to have a fortune in repairs. Although, to its credit, as I said, this does have the German 8-speed transmission, which is an excellent transmission. It's not like the ones that Chrysler's built. Excellent transmission. So you don't have to worry about that in these. If you ever look around to buy one, try to find one that's got the German transmission, the 8-speed automatic. The American ones, they're not too hot. But the German ones, they're really well made. They've had them in these things for years. I've seen some of the older Chryslers when Daimler Chrysler was a company, of course. They were using a lot of German parts, and they were actually starting to make them better. But they lost so much money, they gave up, and then Fiat bought the company. Will this be one of the last of the great beast SUVs? Because they're talking about electrifying everything, right? They said they're not going to make the Chargers, the Challengers. Well, if they're not going to make them, they probably won't make these either. They all share the same engine components and stuff, so I doubt if they will. But if you're looking for a beast SUV and you don't drive all that many miles, you can have a lot of fun in one of these. Especially if you want to drive your SUV 160 miles an hour, which is as fast as this thing goes. And here's some bonus questions and answers. JB says, I own a 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer SE. I got it new, oil change every 4,000 kilometers or 4 months, change transmission oil in a CVT every 60,000 miles as well. What can I do to avoid problems after 100,000? Well, you're pretty much doing it. I'm not a big fan of the Mitsubishis. Their transmissions can be a little bit on the weak side. But, I mean, you're taking care of it. Just keep taking care of it. Don't drive like an absolute lunatic, because if you do, the transmission will go out, those CVTs. But if you drive conservatively, I've had people get quite some mileage if they drove conservatively and didn't beat the CVT transmissions. They're somewhat weak. That's why Mitsubishi doesn't have it. But Toyota, some of their modern CVTs have an actual launch gear. They start out in a regular gear. Then they switch to the CVT out of their first gear. And Mitsubishis aren't made that way. So just kind of baby it and keep doing what you're doing. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.